my name is Tомас Дворжак. I'm a photographer with Magnum, and I have a long history living in Georgia, and I've come to Georgia the first time in 1993, and I'm coming back and lived here at many different occasions. And so when Nestan asked me what was my favorite book in the collection, of course there's many favorite books in the collection, but so I found these two books yesterday, and in a way I'd like to talk about them more than about anything else behind me. So they are both at the end of the century, turn of the century, 19th to 20th century Russian books about the Caucasus. One is a travel encyclopedia, almost, I would say. It's called Очерки Кавказа, like the notes from the Caucasus, and it's a very separated by different chapters about the different regions, and there's a little bit of ethnography, a bit of landscapes, architectural photography, pictures of it, and it's a very heavy and very definitive book. I think it tries to be sort of the encyclopedia. So the second book is it's called the Album of the Views of the Caucasus, and it is I don't know the author or the publisher of it. It's I think the few pages are missing at the beginning, and there's a few pages missing at the end. So there's almost no text. There are only very short captions and place descriptions of it, and so I've looked at it, and this is something, it's one of the most beautiful books I've seen in a very long time, and still it leaves me at a very unease, and I'm not at ease with my liking of it, and I'm not at ease with probably how it was done, because it feels like it's so I mean, I have worked on, I did a book on the Caucasus, and Kocha was presenting it the other day, I think, here, and the key of this book, the one I did, Caucasus, in 2009, which was my working on here for all through the 90s in these difficult times after the end of the Soviet Union, was this very, it was a very nostalgic book, and in a way, it's like if I had had this book at the time, I would have been even more inspired, and it totally hit the taste of what I was trying to do, the spot. But what was the key in this book was and which I'm struggling with this one is it's this kind of imperial Russian look on the Caucasus. So I used a lot of, and I've looked into a lot of Russian literature from the 19th century. The Lermontov, Pushkin, Griboyedov, Tolstoy, all these writers who came to the Caucasus, they were employees of the imperial army, the imperial system. They were military or soldiers sometimes, but definitely they didn't come out of love for the people. But they would then in the evening write poems and odes and celebrations to the Caucasus and its people, and so this conflict was, in a way, was what drove my book, or how I tried to put my book together. And but it's also something that exists in this book. I don't know what these people were. I mean, I guess some of the classics of the photography of that time, the early pioneers of photography in the Caucasus, like Ronashvili and Yermakov and others. I don't know, there's no author written on it. I think we can look it up in the museum collection. I think they have some of the originals of the photographers there, and it's a very distant way. There's not a lot of people in the pictures when they come and they show up. They're like these little figures under the houses and the palaces and the mountains, and it's a very straightforward sort of. It's a trip from the spa towns of the North Caucasus. I think it starts with Kislovodsk or Essentuki until Tbilisi. So that's where it ends all. So it's like the Georgian military highway traveling down, and yeah, so I'm irritated by my own liking of it, because I feel like it's tickling a sort of a nostalgia, which I think we should move on with it, or I don't know. But at the same time, it's just very, very beautiful and beautifully printed, and I don't know. I think it's good to use it. I think we should maybe look into comparing it with how is this new world now being photographed. Like we're in a place here, we're surrounded by Russian tourists who come to Georgia now. The relationships are very complicated between Russia and Georgia. This immense Russian love for Georgia is not always the best thing that happened to Georgia, I guess, and so I would like to see their pictures as well. Maybe start working on something how this mixes up, how this new colonial relationships are playing out. And anyway, I think it's a good thing to think with this book. And anyway, I hope a lot of people can come to the museum once COVID is over, look at the books and all the other beautiful books that are here. And yeah, thank you.